Gentlemen, how are we today?
Good, Leonard. How are you?
I'm doing great. Hey, thanks for doing the Ironman race report. I see that you got a higher calling there with a aide that's going to help us, Leon.
Right,
Um,
right.
I-
We
I'm
got our
sure he's going to know more about
co-host
this
here.
than we do.
Oh, I'm sure he does. I know he watched a lot more of the races than I did, so
Well, good. Make sure just anytime you got input, just put it in there, bud,
yeah, yeah.
and don't let the dog bite you because it hurts. Let me tell you. Before we get too far into the race report with Ironman, what was the turnout like compared to the other rounds?
We numbers were a lot higher than we've had in the last couple rounds. I forget the exact numbers, but I believe we were in the high 500s.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's really good.
yeah. I mean, all the classes seemed a lot larger for sure.
Really.
Hmm. We even had some LCQs.
I seen that.
Hmm.
You know, one of the guys that I talked to early on in his career, Donovan, he was out racing. I hadn't seen his name in the
Yeah.
results for a while, and he was.
Yeah.
Do you think it's Iron Man brought these people out, or do you think that you know uh, they were just willing to come racing? What do you think the deal is?
It's hard to say whether it was Iron Man itself or if it was the fact that we're back. I mean, this Ohio, PA, Ohio and Pennsylvania are the two. I mean, when you're looking at the numbers, what state the riders are from, most of the riders are from Ohio or Pennsylvania. So being back closer to those two states, it could be something with that, or it could be that everybody wants to go to Ironman because it is a well-known track and it basically every year they give us a very fun, very rideable track.
And seem like the course was really good this year.
Yeah, it was a lot short, like distance wise, it was a lot shorter. So times were a lot faster. And like on Saturday, especially, when pros went out for their second moto, there were, I think, two motos left in the day out of the 37 or 38 motos,
Don't pros
and
race at 3 o'clock in the afternoon?
4 o'clock. But usually, when pros go out for their second moto, there's normally 10, at least 10 motos left in the day.
So
So
it's a good sign, or they just ran a really good fast program.
I mean, because it was a faster, it was a pretty smooth track. So lap times were a lot faster. So your four and few 5 lap motos were going by very fast. And then as far as I know, I don't think the day was ever really stopped for any sort of medical issue or a bike that's broke down the middle of the track or anything like that. It just seemed to be a very smooth day.
So you're telling me the track crew was on and everybody else stayed on their machines for the most
From what
part.
I saw and what I heard, that's what it seems like.
Yeah. Noah, I haven't heard anything on him. How's he doing?
Noah is doing, I mean, as good as he can. Um, I spoke to him. There was a couple days ago that I talked to him now, and I think it was, I think he's about 7 weeks that he's going to be out.
Ouch.
Yeah. So, but I mean, that's collarbone, shoulder blade,
He's
ribs,
young.
lung. Yeah, he is young, but it that hurts either way.
Right. Right. Uh, Change of subject. How's the new house coming?
It's slowly getting here. Doing as much as we can while we can, with race season being here and being gone every other weekend, don't get the most time to work on everything. But I I was Tatum, grab the phone cord. I was going for a garden today, so we're keeping busy.
That's awesome. And the weather's been pretty rough there in Ohio, hasn't it?
I was giving Courtney some crap the other day. I didn't realize that she suckered me into moving to Washington. Yeah.
The dog is just not helping here, is it? Is
He's
she?
not. He's not. We're gonna go back on this side. Um, but yeah, no, we've gotten a lot of rain as of late.
You can just move that out of your way to walk past it, Dad. Can I walk in front of it? No, you got to move it this way. Sorry about that, guys.
Oh, no worries.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks, Dad. Pops is on his way to his Model A Club meeting.
Oh, awesome. That sounds fun.
Yep. And he took the dog because normally he leaves the dog and she doesn't like me, so she
Yeah.
barks the whole time.
Yeah.
But he took her this time, so I know that's
There you
off
go.
topic. We
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
We wanted to talk about racing.
Right.
It sounds like Ironman is a really great place with a great crew. So you're not having a lot of issues there.
Well, and it's Ironman is one of those tracks where the track crew seems like they are actually inviting of the ATVs. We don't always get that with some of the tracks we go to throughout the year. It just kind of it seems like they just tolerate us. Ironman is actually inviting, and they put on a good they supply us with a good track, and they put on a good crew to keep everything going well.
Right. Well, that's excellent. It's good to hear.
Right.
So, if you watch social media very much, Joey Norris got a lot of video time,
Yep.
and they did a bunch of comparisons between him and Deegan.
Yep.
I don't know. The Deegan jump didn't look very impressive to me.
No, I don't think it did not look very cool for the dirt bikes, where obviously Joey throwing around a machine that weighs twice as much as that dirt bike, and I feel like he landed it a little smoother too.
He did a great job. I saw some other videos of some other people. Some didn't make it, and some did.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it didn't seem like it was a faster line during the
No.
race, but it looked pretty quick when Joey did it. I don't know if he threw it during the race.
I don't think he ever got the chance to do it in the race. I do know that Bryce was doing it during the pro motos, and I mean, he was doing it because I'm anybody that knows what happened in the pro motos. In the first moto, Bryce got the whole shot and led for a while, and he was hitting it every lap, and Joel was not. And I mean, it seemed like Joel was gaining on him through that section. It wasn't any faster by any means, but all of those guys and I mean, that's just showing one thing too, that if the fastest guy in the world on an ATV is not hitting that line, maybe there's a reason. And I think it kind of showed later in that first moto. It got to a point where Bryce was landing not very smooth, and you would see the holes that his quad was digging when he framed out on the landing. And towards the end of the first moto, Bryce was no longer hitting that Cinco and was just quadding it. But he never really quadded it to begin with. So it was pretty cringeworthy watching him trying to quad it compared to everyone else.
So he had been doing the big jump and didn't get the timing down on the little bit shorter distance.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like anyways, because like I said, when he dropped that last little landing and went back to the quad, he looked awkward.
Really.
Mm-hmm.
And he led for how many laps did he lead out of the race?
I don't know. I'd say probably 3 or 4, I bet.
And how many laps do you think they got?
They were putting in I bet you they got at least 15 to 20 laps, I bet.
I thought that the time was that Joel had like an 18-second lead.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Man, ran
It's,
away and hid.
it was ridiculous. And then the second moto, same thing. Yeah, it was.
Did he hole shot it, or did he come have to come through the pack again?
He did. I believe he got the whole shot on the second moto. If he didn't, I didn't get to see the whole shot. I got down there after I think the first lap, but he was already in the lead at that point.
Okay.
So if he didn't get the whole shot, he took the lead right away.
Well, let's get back to the pro class after we talk a little bit of WMX.
Mm-hmm.
Kindsey Osborn is on fire with another
Mm-hmm.
1-1. She said she's tearing up the record books for
Yeah.
the WMX with these motos, and
Mm-hmm.
winning and stretching it out so that I don't think that there's going to be another women's champion that's going to be this dominant. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Uh, Ellie Roush came back and was here for this round. That was
Mm-hmm.
good to see.
Yep.
Um, I'm not sure. I don't have it, but Ashley Brick, was she on the podium?
Yeah, I think
Yes.
She was third
And
this time.
Moto.
Has she been on the
Yeah,
podium
she got a third overall, I believe.
this time? Yes.
Yes,
Was
yes.
she on the podium?
This is her first race of the year.
Okay.
Yep, she wasn't at Texas or at Chicani due to scheduling. They couldn't make those longer treks.
Do you know what happened to Natalie Jackson?
I do not.
She was second in the first moto and eighth in the second moto.
Hmm. Yeah, I didn't get to see that one. I was getting ready for JJ's moto, so I'm not sure if she had bike issues or if she possibly went down. Hard to say.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't see any input on that. Shelby got second, and I
Hmm.
know that we've talked about her before.
Yep.
So, I just am concerned that I'm not concerned. I think it's awesome in a way that Kindsey is setting that record book.
Yep.
She graduates from high school
Yep.
here this month,
Hmm. Well,
and she's going to
okay.
roll into college,
Right.
and she may not be back.
She might not be, at least not for a couple of years. I haven't spoke to them about what the future holds in the next couple of years or anything like that. But I mean, the other thing with Kindsey too is she's not just running WMX like most of these women are. She's running the A class with the boys too. And she's holding her own in the A class.
Yes, she is. Um, she did really well a couple rounds ago,
Yep.
but she didn't do bad. She got 2.6 to give her
Hmm.
fifth overall.
Hmm.
And, some of these boys need to be, like checking themselves. Like this girl is really showing you the way. Um,
Right.
I think it's doing nothing but making her faster.
Hmm.
This is the question that I have for you. Do you
Yeah.
think that this could set her up to, because all these guys are probably going to go to pro sport and pro am. Do you think
Hmm.
this is going to set her up to go ride in pro sport or maybe even pro am?
I'm hoping so. I honestly, last few years now, I've been saying I really want to see her compete in the pro sport and or pro am class. I think it'd just be really cool because like I said, she is holding her own in the A class, and honestly, she is faster than some of those boys that are beating her. It's just that she can't muscle the bike the way some of those boys can. So it's through some of the rougher and choppy stuff where they can just kind of muscle that bike around. She doesn't have that physical strength that some of those boys do. Otherwise, everywhere else, she's honestly faster.
Really?
So it's just going to be, you know, does she want to, and can she get her physical, usable muscle up to be able to do what some of those boys do and actually show her speed? Or does she not really care and she's just, kind of doing this to do another class? But I don't see her ever dropping the WMX class. So if anything, I could see her possibly moving up to Pro-Am at some point. But I bet you if she does return next year, I bet she returns to the A class again before she makes a jump like that.
Yeah, because she's still young.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's no reason to rush it.
Mhm.
Build the training, and get herself. I think a little more aggressive physical
Mhm.
training would do her well to
Right.
get her a little strong. She's already got the size and the leverage that she would need, because
Mhm.
she's not a small. I don't
No,
mean
she's
in a big way,
not.
but
She's
she's
not
tall.
short. She's
I
a
think she's taller than I
normal.
am.
She's. I'd say she's about 5'5", 5'6", something like that.
I think
Maybe
she's
even a little
taller
bit
than
taller
that,
than that.
bro. I think she's taller than that.
Never really stood next to her and like Kindsey.
You're not
And
very tall, so
what's that?
you're not very tall, so
No, I'm just 6 flat.
nah, you were that tall, really?
Yes, sir.
I must have been standing on a box when I got next to you.
Maybe. Yeah,
Wouldn't be
6
the
foot.
first time, right?
Yeah.
Well, hell, I just lost all my information that I had.
Uh-oh. But yeah, no, that WMX class, I think it's going to be a battle for the other spots on the podium, but I don't see anybody holding a candle to Kindsey anytime soon.
No, I think she's going to have another perfect year, which is
Hmm.
unheard of,
Yeah,
in any sports for you to go that many years. And if she comes back next year, uh, unless somebody changes something, she's probably going to get herself another one. But
right.
when we get into pro sport and we start talking about things, um, you're gonna have to talk me through this a little bit because we had a little bit of uh, a different finish, and
Hmm.
you had Moto one or Heat one for everybody, and then there were two heats, and then there
Hmm.
was two mains, like two motos. Um, so everybody got to ride three times for the qualifiers, and then there were some LCQs, some things like that went on. Um, Heath Hanna did really good in his
Hmm.
qualifier in his heat race, and he did
Hmm.
really good in Moto One. Didn't seem to do so well in Moto Two,
Hmm.
into fifth. But Brett Music, went 2-2, and he went second in his qualifier. Um,
So the qualifiers were the heats
right.
in pro sport. Yeah, so they only rode twice.
And why does it have Moto One, Moto Two?
That was your heat race.
Well, it has heat race on
Yeah.
there, gives them their finish in the heat race. Then it
Yep.
gives them a moto. And this is what the result sheet shows.
That's weird. Yeah, because they had their heats, and honestly, they didn't even need to split them up because it was, I believe, 10 and 10 in the heats. You could have just done one drop, but I believe there was 21 or 22 signed up. One of those being Noah. Obviously, he got injured and wasn't able to race. But yeah, they did their heats and then they did Moto 2. So I'm not sure what they're trying to show there.
21. There's 21 here.
Interesting. Yeah, because there was 10 and 10 in the heats.
Uh,
Are they showing Noah?
Nelson, no, they're not.
No.
Nelson Chapel doesn't have a place finish, but he has a number. Um, he
It's
got
odd.
11 in his first heat, and then C1, he got fifth, and then 11th. So like he didn't even make it in the transfer.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Only guy that didn't make the transfer.
Huh. Very weird. But yeah, so
No.
I guess some of those guys then, because if they would have broke it up like an LCQ style, then some guys hit the track 3 times.
Right. And that's probably why they have it listed like they do.
Mhm.
Music got second in his qualifier or in his heat, and then got fourth in the main,
Mhm.
and that's where he ended up.
Right.
Joe Norris didn't seem to do as well in his heat.
He got a very bad start. And then with this track being a faster, not so rough track, it was harder for him to move up. I mean, it was in both of those classes, Saturday and Sunday, it was a little harder for people to make passes because it was everybody was going a little bit faster.
Really.
Mm-hmm.
Where did Cody come from?
Cody was the one that led most of Daytona.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And ended up going over the bars in the main at Daytona.
So he's been
So
stalking back there,
he's been back there, and then he got a good start in his heat and pulled away with it.
he won
And
his.
then again and he's also, so to back this up a little bit, he comes from a TT background.
Okay.
And a lot of those corners at Ironman were getting pretty blue groove.
So maybe not the jumping portion of it, but the skill for turning and things like
Mhm.
that fell into his skill set and
Mhm.
allowed him to take advantage of the good starts.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, he's no slouch at jumping. He was hitting everything just like everyone else. But I think he had that little bit of an advantage of turning on the packed flat corners, I should say, where he was able to just hook a little bit more. And I mean, yeah, and that heat, he was gone.
Right. Okay.
So,
And Jaden got another second.
yep, yep.
I think
Yeah,
I think he
he
likes
just
that sweet spot this year.
I think he just doesn't like to start because his hole shots were garbage again.
But did he seemed to work through the pack
He
because he
did.
won his heat.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, he had found different areas on the track where he excelled a little bit better. And his that's the thing with his size is, for me, it makes my job harder because he's so much harder and everything else, but he uses his length to muscle that bike around, and he can do some things that other people can't really do, and use it to his advantage to get around people.
Well, that's good for him being able to move through the pack like that.
Mm-hmm.
And Joey ended up third.
Mm-hmm.
He won Moto 2, but the fourth
Yep.
in the
Right.
first heat,
Right.
uh, kept him out of the lower score.
Yep.
Uh, he obviously was fast,
Mm-hmm.
just out of place in that first heat.
Right.
Do you think music is better
I
with
think
grips?
music is slowly progressing, as he is, I think we've kind of talked about this every time now. He's got a busy life. He's that podium contender that is doing more than just training and racing. This is a guy that's running his own business and working every day, and he's also got a baby. He's doing a lot in his life where he can't just ride every day and focus on racing.
And he's also riding a Honda when everybody else is riding a Yamaha.
Right, right. It's a CRF hybrid, of course, but yeah, I mean, and he's one of those weird twist throttle people too, just like yourself.
Yeah, men ride twist throttles, and he's a man. It's okay.
Dirt bikers ride twist throttles.
We won't hold it all against you guys for not riding twist throttle. So there's no real shakeup in the points. I believe that Joey's got the point lead. Landerville's got in second, and
Yep,
Music, I believe, is the third in points, isn't he?
I believe so, yes.
Um, Heath Hanna is probably right there, and Corn is
Yep.
probably there as well.
Corn's he's probably decent, but his Daytona was not good. He didn't finish Daytona.
Okay.
So that one's really gonna hurt him when it comes to the points.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
Yep. But
Well,
yeah, I
we'll
mean you've got Heath that he's just he's back there stalking everyone. Yeah, I mean Cody Houghton's sitting there. You got this is and a lot of people have said it now. This in Pro-Am, they are the classes to watch, really.
Yeah, because it's you know, Norris and Landerville are the ones that are always up front, and the rest of them keep bouncing around and changing positions.
Right,
Music seems to be close to the top five the whole time, but you
right,
never know.
right, right. And I mean, honestly, Joey Norris and Jaden Londerville, those two are the same speed. It basically comes down to who gets the better hole shot and is out front first, or who makes the mistake first. And that basically determines who's going to win out of those two, or
Right.
who's going to beat out of those two, anyways, which will be a further up front.
Yeah, in Pro Am, Jaden couldn't seem to get out of third.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just I you've got Mason and you've got Kevin, and I think those two classes, those two being in that class is definitely helping them in pro, I believe, because it's a little confidence booster. But then being at that level that they're riding at on Saturday, I think is definitely setting them up. They've got just ridiculous speed come Sunday.
Well, it's they raced with the pro guys the day
Right.
before,
Exactly.
and they got the track wired in because they got to
Mhm.
ride it.
Right.
What happened to Kevin in the second moto?
Just
He had a bike malfunction.
Um,
Did his bike make a noise when it stopped?
well,
I believe the motor blew up.
Full puff of smoke and parked to the side of the deal. He wanted to watch instead of race.
Yeah, yeah. Colton was standing right there and started talking to him. So
Nice. How mad was he?
I mean he was just like
bummed.
just filmed. It wasn't really
Okay.
What'd you say, Don?
Blair Miller came out and got the whole shot.
Yeah, yeah. He showed up Sunday morning, quad in the back of the truck, and unloaded and went to the gate.
And whole
So,
shotted it.
yep, yep. I believe he got both hole shots.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So,
And
and he
come
held his own for a while.
yeah, I mean, for not riding other than Daytona,
Mm-hmm.
I guess the wheels came off the cart for his program, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he got the one pro
He
ride.
he kind of still refuses to ride that Yamaha.
Is that what it is?
Basically, yes. His ride didn't pull the plug on him. I know that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't like the Yamaha.
Doesn't like the Yamaha.
Well, you know
But
what?
it comes to a point where you just need to suck it up.
Well, yeah, and plus, well, the other factor is he's the guy out there riding it. He's the guy out there jumping it. He's the guy out there doing those things. And if he doesn't feel comfortable, you know,
Mm-hmm.
he shouldn't be there.
Right, right. So, but yeah, so I mean, it was Sunday was definitely ups and downs for a lot of people because you also had Heath Hanna that blew a motor, I believe in the first moto.
We got an
I think
eighth in the first moto and a fourth in the second moto.
unless that was Saturday, he blew a motor at. That could have even been the
On
oh,
Saturday, he went.
that was in the qualifier. Sorry, on Sunday.
Okay.
Yep, that's when. So it was Sunday, but yeah, during the qualifier, he blew a motor. I don't know. Hopefully, he got a good lap in before that happened. Um, but yeah, it seemed like there were a decent amount of engines that blew up this last weekend too.
Well, that's making somebody some money.
Right?
Nick Janusa, injured, broken arm,
Broken wrist.
and rode with the injury.
Right.
Just salvaged the
He took the water truck lane I mean, he took the track as much as he could, but I know he only did a couple laps just to, get the points. And Moto 2, I think he completed 2 slow laps, pulled off, and it was not that much longer or later that his rig was rolling out and they went straight to the hospital.
Right. Yeah,
So
I got to text back and forth with him a little bit. He's
yeah.
bummed, but he seems to be motivated and wants to get well so he can come back and race.
Yeah.
So speedy recovery, Nick Janusa. We want to get you back out there into the fight. The other guy we need to talk about, or well, let's talk about these two guys first. Jackson and Sar swapping positions and fighting for sixth place in the pro class.
Yeah.
Sar ended up beating out Jackson with a 6.6 versus, Jackson's 5.7, which, that's really good. Chambers was right behind him. So Chambers was in there, doing well. So that was a good fight for that position. The bummer was Brandon Hogue. Something happened to him, going 9 in the first moto and 3 in the second moto.
First moto, he blew a motor as well.
Oh wow.
Yep. He said he felt and heard it and knew it was going. I think it was about the second or third lap that his engine started making noise. And knowing that now, I mean, he was charging and he was coming up. I think if that bike would have held together, I think he would have probably taken second.
Okay.
But yeah, he said it started making noise and it decided to make a new breather window in the cases.
Ouch.
Yep, rod went right through.
That wasn't good for him.
No. So that really sucks. Obviously they got the bike back, got the motor swapped out. He got back out there for Moto 2, but I mean, damage was done at that point.
Right. Rastrelli with a 3.5, he dang near put himself on the podium battling Lindquist. Lindquist went 4.4.
Yep.
With Brandon Hogue's misfortune. And then Brandon came back and took the third. Max had just enough HP to stay in front of Rastrelli to get himself on the box. That's to make up for his 2023 with no podium finishes.
Right. I don't think he got really higher than a 7th all year last year.
Yeah, I didn't think I was going to say,
it was like his magic number last year.
Yeah. So Max is making a comeback and slowly moving into the results. Strelly too, showing some grit and doing well at that facility. Bryce Ford seems to be a notch above, everybody else. When Brandon's there, it's him and Brandon fighting for second and third. What can you say about the guy that won other than just utter domination?
Yeah. Yeah. Again, I mean, it's just, he is an absolute animal.
As far as record books go, I don't think there's ever been a ATV pro that was perfect.
I don't think so. No.
And as long as everything keeps going his way, he could,
Yeah.
because he's
Yeah.
been fast qualifier, fastest lap,
Yep.
and winning all the motos.
Yep.
He's not even being contested. And
Right.
I don't want to take anything away from Chad Weenan. Yes, we miss him dearly.
Mhm.
But I don't think Chad would have anything in his bag of tricks for him.
I don't think so either. Obviously I like Chad. I get along with him. But yeah, I mean, it's just I don't think he would quite have it in him anymore to do it either. And it's not that it's so much anymore. I don't think Chad's really slowing down. It's just that when it comes to our pro class, the riders are evolving again.
Yeah, and Joel has done something that none of them can seem to keep up with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
His training is on the next level. His program to build his bikes, his race mechanic, and the team guys at the shop, they're all on par. Actually better than par. They're sinking the putts. They're doing everything they need to do to make it freaking perfect for Joel. And even if
Yep.
there is something that we're not seeing that's not perfect, Joel's compensating when he's on the bike.
Right. Right. Absolutely. I mean, there hasn't been an off day for him yet, and I don't see one coming. He's focused, he knows what he needs to do, and he's taking this as his job, which he needs to do. And I think that was Chad's strong point forever, is that Chad made racing his business.
And I think Joel is learned from that
Mhm.
and frustration of following and being in the pro class as long as he has been,
Mhm.
and battling through all
Right.
the different things that he's done has taught him so much.
Right.
And
Right.
I think that he still thinks that Weenan is a fierce competitor, but
Mhm.
from a distance he had to watch and learn.
Right. Right. He's always known in his head, and I think he still knows in his head, that there is no room to slow down. There is no room to slip up, because if you do slip up, it may not be Chad there anymore, but somebody will capitalize on a mistake.
Yes.
And his program is ironed in. I mean, Gary's got those bikes running top notch. He's got them handling. It's just, like I said, Joel can put that bike anywhere he wants to. And if
Right.
he can mentally point and that bike shoots, you've got everything put together.
And yeah, you see the pictures that he's, riding it on one wheel, or he's
Mhm.
out of position, but he's not out of position because soon as he gets out of position, he instantly goes right back in shape.
Mhm. Mhm.
And out of position, he can make the bike dance and
Yeah,
do things that nobody else on the track is doing.
absolutely. I don't think that he is ever out of control at this point.
No.
It made that bike in some of those pictures, it may be captured where it looks like something is about to go hairy, but I think that at any point he can reel that thing right back in and lasso, bring that thing back down.
I totally agree. I
Hmm.
mean,
He's just a cowboy out there breaking his horse.
yep. And totally under control.
Hmm.
Where are we going next?
Well, we are going to Pennsylvania for High Point.
What's the consensus when you go to High Point? You know, what are we looking for? Do you think that it'll be anything different than years past?
What we're looking for is a dry weekend, because that never happens at that track. This race has been pushed back because we're usually racing there about middle of April. That race was the week after Courtney's and my wedding last year. So it's normally, like I said, about like mid-April, and this year we're now mid-May, so hopefully it's a little drier. But I think as long as we can get little to no moisture, the track can actually set the way it should be. They can prep the track the way it should be prepped, and it could be an interesting weekend again. I mean, normally we're just dealing with, let's just stay as dry as we possibly can. Let's make sure our bikes don't ingest water and do the best we can.
Right.
And pros usually, at least for a moto, pros usually get pretty lucky. But us amateurs, we always get thrown in the slop at some point. So,
Well, it happens. It happens.
right. But yeah, I think if we can get a good weekend with the weather, we should get a pretty fun track. That track usually has some good hits. So it could be some spectacular airtime out of some of these guys. And the rest of us, it's just going to be go out there and have fun again.
Right. And
So,
you know what? Joel Hetrick, can he keep it perfect? Kindsey Osborn, can she keep it perfect?
right,
And
right,
who's going to win Pro Sport or Pro Am?
right. Because it can be a toss up. There's nothing saying that Jaden or Joey will win Pro Sport. There's nothing saying that, it's going to be a Mason, Kevin Saar battle for first and JJ getting third. Anything can happen in those classes. And that's what makes those classes so fun to watch.
Right. I totally agree.
Mhm.
Everybody keep it shiny side up for rolling into the next round. And I hope that the clouds stay away and you get a nice
Let's
sunny.
hope. Let's hope.
Well, it's always funner to race in the sun than it is in the rain.
Right. I seem to do better in the mud, but yeah, I don't want to ride in the mud.
No, you just don't want to have to clean up.
That is exactly it. If I had someone else, if I was on the JJ Londerville program, I'd be fine with whatever.
Well, maybe someday. Maybe someday.
Maybe
We're not
one.
making
Yeah,
anything.
I think that ship has passed.
I do too, but I wasn't going to say it. I didn't want to throw you under the bus in front of everybody.
Not unless I get that like test rider gig for somebody. Hint, hint. We'll see. We'll see.
Colton, you need to get a better job, buddy.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
I don't think he gets it yet, but maybe.
He will. He will.
Right on. Gentlemen, hey, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. As always, all you do for getting this information out and helping me with the track stuff. I really appreciate. Colton, anytime you want to come on and you want to be part of it.